Hey, Eric Cito here from 5minuteinvesting.com, and today we're going to talk about the top 3 technical analysis indicators, and this is designed for stock market for beginners. Now, whether you have or don't have a financial background, whether you're just starting out or you have been investing for the last 10 years, I think this video will be helpful to you. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 basically indicators or tools I use in terms of technical analysis, and I think this will be especially helpful to you. Now, I do have another video called Introduction to Technical Analysis for Beginners, where I talk about some of the pros and cons of technical analysis. So if you haven't watched that, make sure you go and watch that video as well. So the first indicator that I use is exponential moving average. Now, this is more like a smoother line than a simple moving average, so I like to use this one more, and it actually is quite reliable in terms of showing a potential support area and showing the trend. So I think you can wiki or just Google what is the calculation for exponential moving average, and I think this is one of the most popular, if not the most popular, moving average that short-term traders, medium-term traders, and long-term traders use. And you know, I after testing over 300 strategy, I have seen a variety of exponential moving averages. You know, it ranges from 5, 8, 12, 20, 50 to 100, 200. I've even tried actually 500 as well. And what I find is that the longer term you use your exponential moving average, the better it is. So I would suggest you to use a longer term exponential moving average. So this is really the first indicator I use. Now the second one is Bollinger Band. Now Bollinger Band is all about measuring volatility, short-term fluctuations. And depending on which trader you approach, you will find people use it in completely opposite ways. So some people believe that if the Bollinger Band, like if the price is near the top of the Bollinger Band, is a buy, and some people believe that if the price is near the top of the Bollinger Band, is sell. So it's quite interesting, and if you go research, you're going to find a lot of different ways to use this one indicator. For myself personally, I only use Bollinger Band in very, very, very specific situation because I know the tool very well. And I essentially believe that if price approaches the bottom of the Bollinger Band, then it is a buy instead of the other way around. Now, I do need to give you one reminder though, is when you're using Bollinger Band, you can actually test out a lot of different parameters, same as EMAs, where you can test 20, 40, 100, 50, 200, and so on. And the longer it is, the more stable it is. But having said that, I only use the standard 20 Bollinger Band with 2 standard deviation. Okay, I know some people try to use 3 standard deviation, and I just find that using 2 standard deviation works the best for me. Okay, the third tool is really about drawing support and resistance lines. Now, again, this one is actually quite convoluted, and there are a lot of ways to draw supports and resistance lines. I'm sure you'll find a ton of information here on YouTube. But essentially, it is all about looking at historical, psychological trading areas. So you want to see where people have bought before and where people have sold before. And if you just hold that idea in your mind when you're investing in the market, it's going to help you a lot. Another thing I want to remind you of is really, when you're looking at the markets, you're going to see a lot of waves. And when you draw support and resistance line, the closer it is, the more recent support and resistance lines are going to be stronger. And the more further out, the older ones are going to be weaker. And I think this is a very, very important observation. So not all support and resistance lines are equal. And if you take a very simplistic approach, if you just kind of take, 80-20, kind of think about 80-20, take a very simplistic approach, then just use the most recent support and the most recent resistance. So you just look at the most recent wave in the stock market and look at the support and resistance there. So that's going to help you a lot, and that's going to simplify a lot of your investing approach in terms of technical analysis. So those are the three tools, which is EMA, Bollinger Band, and drawing supports and resistance line. Now, when you are using these three tools, these are actually my three favorite tools. You need to consider a couple of other things as well. The time frame you're using it on, which is the longer the time frame, the better. The trend of the markets. So obviously the trend plays a huge part and actually changes the way you actually see some of the indicators, and some of the indicators you should ignore in an up or downtrend. And the third one is really fundamentals and everything else. So when you're looking at technical analysis, I actually covered this in a much greater detail in another video called Introduction to Technical Analysis for Beginners. But essentially technical analysis, there's an inherent limitation to it, and you need to consider other things like fundamentals, news, whether the insider is doing anything funny, and you also want to consider how do you manage your risk, how do you allocate your portfolio, and how do you multiply your profits. And the last one is really the most exciting one for me, which is I multiply my profits using stock options. It is a form of leverage. And I have been using this strategy for the last 4 years, and I generated 450% from the markets. So my average annual return is approximately 50% a year. So after I discovered this strategy of using long-term investing with stock options as a way to multiply my profit, I developed a coaching program called Investing Accelerator, where you can master investing in 4 weeks. And you're going to learn step by step the exact approach I use for technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and how to find stocks that you're 95% confident in. And that is really the goal. And once you're able to find these opportunities, these stock opportunities that you're 95% confident in, then you can maximize your return. You can multiply your profit using stock options. And once you're invested, you can just lay back and relax. And that's kind of what I do. And this is why I spend around only an hour a week on investing. And if you want to learn more, you can click on the first link below, which will take you to how to get 30% from the market in the next 12 months. It's a webinar that I offer for free. And if you want to learn more about technical analysis, I do offer one of the free modules in Investing Accelerator to you as a free chart course. So you can click on the link below for the free chart course, and this will help you set up your charts, use the indicators that I just talked about here, which is EMA, Bollinger Band, and support and resistance. And then afterwards, if you want to join the full program, you can schedule a one-on-one phone consultation with me, and I can answer any questions you have before you join the program. So that's pretty much it, and I'm very excited for you to use technical analysis because I think it is one of the best inventions in the last 20 years to look at the stock market. And if you like this video, please click like, subscribe, and leave a comment below and let me know if there's any other topics you want me to cover for you as well. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video.